Hello and welcome to stage 5 of the OVO Energy Women's Tour 2019. We're now in Wales for the first of 2 decisive days in the hunt for this year's crown, and things won't get any easier out there after yesterday's summit finish. From a rather damp start in Warwick, the peloton headed north on stage 4, and it was Sarah Roy of Mitchelton Scott who made the early break. Lying 5th overall, just 6 seconds off the lead, the Australian rider was looking for bonus seconds at the intermediate sprints. She picked up 3 at the first sprint in Brinklow. Shortly afterwards, she was joined by Lottie Becker and Femke Marcus, and the 3 of them built up an 8-minute lead over the peloton. By the second sprint at Pillerton Priors, the gap was coming down, but once again, Sarah Roy picked up 3 bonus seconds. Lottie Becker was dropped on the climb up Sunrising Hill. Then, on the first of 3 climbs in Burton Dasset Country Park, the trio of Elisa Longo-Borghini, Kasia Niewiadoma and Leanne Lippert broke away from the peloton and started chasing down the leading pair. Having caught and passed the leaders, Niewiadoma led the group of 3 over the top for the second time, but the peloton were in hot pursuit and it all came down to a sprint up the final climb.
Kasia Niewiadoma grits her teeth, Lippert battles back, but it's going to be a stage victory for the look of it for Kasia Niewiadoma of Canyon Shroud. She takes the summit finish.
So after stage 4, Leanne Lippert and Kasia Niewiadoma are tied on the same time, but Lippert holds the green jersey thanks to her finishing higher on the previous stages. Lizzie Deignan is just 3 seconds back in 3rd, and Lisa Brunel drops to 4th. Well, Manon Lloyd joins me in Wales this morning, and I've had a look through the list and the peloton. Am I right in saying you are the only Welsh rider this year?
Yeah, I am, yes.
Here, I'm proud. And what does it mean, though, to be on these roads and having some local support as well?
Yeah, it's really good. It's obviously tomorrow is my home stage in Carmarthenshire, and it's something I'm really looking forward to, and it's something you always dream of, having a massive race like this come to your hometown, so yeah, really excited.
Tell us a bit about yesterday. Every time I watched the bunch come through the start-finish gantry on those closing circuits, super strong performance.
Yeah, it was really, really tough. I think obviously one of the longest stages, and it was just such a long day. I don't think I've ever ridden that far before, and to race it as well. And yeah, just the finishing circuits were really brutal, and yeah, but it made for a really good race.
Yeah, and reflecting so far, stage 5 today, how are you feeling as a team? How it's going?
We're all pretty tired, but we're all really up for it. I think today's going to be obviously one of the hardest stages, but yeah, as long as we make it to the finish.
Well, it's not raining at the moment, but that forecast isn't great again, is it?
No, but being from Wales, we're used to it.
Yeah, you're very used to it, aren't you? Now, of course, you've got the pink ribbon in your hair this morning, as have all the riders, really, in the peloton this week, for a very important reason. Let's hear more now.
It's a really cool initiative that the Women's Tour is linked with breast cancer care, and yeah, every one of us received a ribbon with a personal message from a breast cancer patient or survivor.
This is my pink ribbon. It's from a lady called Sam, who's been suffering with breast cancer, and it's a really great thing actually that this race is in partnership with breast cancer care. It really raises the awareness of breast cancer care, the research and the fundraising that they do. It's really inspirational for us as well to kind of hear about these things that these amazing women go through and their struggle, and hopefully we can just raise more awareness for the cause, for the fundraising, for the research, and hopefully we can just support those women and men who are struggling with breast cancer.
What does it mean for you to be in the pink jersey this week?
Yeah, it means a lot to me, like helping those people with wearing the jersey, and making it more in the media attention. It's really nice. Sometimes you think about it, especially when I'm riding uphill and I'm suffering, and then you think about all those people who are suffering as well, and then it's a hard job, but then it's nothing compared to those people.
My ribbon was really encouraging to me, and all I'm doing is racing a bike, and this woman's fighting for her life, and so just putting everything in perspective, I think, is always really important for me when I race. So I'm really glad that we were able to have that given to us, and we're able to represent them here.
I think a lot of us are feeling really inspired by the stories that are on all our ribbons, and they're helping us ride a little bit harder, because what we're doing and suffering on the bike is really nothing compared to what a cancer patient and survivor has to go through in their life.
Something beautiful that we have opportunity to support women who suffered from breast cancer, and that we can get to know their stories and just share each other's love and light and energy, and just like help to be strong and to just go through entire day with a smile on the face and a lot of positivity.
Well, I've had an opportunity to have a closer look at the messages in some of the ribbons this week. What does it mean to you and your ribbon as well, particularly?
Yeah, they're really inspiring to have them and with you in the race, and just puts everything into perspective, and it makes you push even harder, I think, and yeah, and it's a good reason to do this race.
So looking to today's stage, what do you make of it? How closely have you had a look this morning in the team meeting?
It's just very, very hilly, and I think it'll just be surviving, and I think it's going to be quite a natural selection towards the end because of the nature of the course. So, yeah.
So come on then, tell us, what is the tactical approach for the team today?
I can't tell you that on TV, sorry.
Cards close to your chest.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. Good luck out there on a very, very hilly day in Wales. Now let's take a closer look at what is in store on Stage 5. Stage 5 covers 140 kilometres of the toughest terrain Powys has to offer. The first sprint comes at Begeldy, and then there's the Category 1 climb of the Gordha Bank. The route turns south with a sprint at St Harmon and then another Cat 1 climb at a Pint before the descent towards the finish in Builth Wells. Home to the National Cycle Museum, Llandrindod Wells is the county town of Powys and is hosting the OVO Energy Women's Tour for the first time. Developed as a spa town in the 19th century, Llandrindod Wells has recently been voted the happiest place in Wales. The stage finish is in Builth Wells, a traditional market town situated on the confluence of the rivers Wye and Irfon. The town has a thriving mix of independent businesses and shops and is just a stone's throw away from the Royal Welsh Showground. Time now to join all the race action from Stage 5 here in Wales with your commentators Marty McDonald and Joanna Rousel.
We're ready for the start of the Queen stage of this year's OVO Energy Women's Tour for Llandrindod Wells to Builth Wells. The toughest stage. We've got 2 categorised climbs, but 2,000 metres of climbing along today's stage route. 2 intermediate sprints, and it's very tight at the top of the general classification. Just 3 seconds separating the top 3 as we roll out. And Joe, I said 2 categorised climbs, but this is a big one today.
It is, so I think a lot of riders will be really relishing the prospect of this race today. It's by far the hilliest stage of the Women's Tour we've ever seen. So yesterday was the first hilltop finish, and that was a brilliant race to watch. I really enjoyed that. But I think a lot of riders will be really looking forward to a really big day for the climbers today.
Great to see so many kids out at the start on the rollout. Here are your teams. And watch out, Team Sunweb now have that OVO Energy green leaders jersey on the shoulders of Leanne Lippert. Expect a challenge from Canyon Tram. Level on time with Cassia Nuva-Doma, then Lizzie Deignan at 3. Brennauer dropping yesterday at 7 seconds for Team WNT. We'll see how they want to try and battle back on this one today. Trek Segafredo, the team of Lizzie Deignan. And Movistar, again, a team that could have a few cards to play. There's Obianique in that tricolor French national champions jersey. 76 riders starting the stage tomorrow. It certainly has been a race of attrition. There's Lizzie Banks, Joe, 31 seconds off the lead in 9th. She's having a great tour.
She is having a brilliant tour. So Bigler came with just 4 riders to this stage race, but she's having a brilliant race so far. She rode really well yesterday with the hilltop finish, and I think she'll be looking forward to today. It's a real chance for her to showcase the hard work she's put in and how much she's developed in the last couple of years. And she's only been a pro for 2 years, so it is really, really impressive by her to see her doing this well.
Indeed, there's all your jerseys lined up along the front. So Yolene Dura in that pink breast cancer care points jersey. Christine Majera still in the black Skoda Queen of the Mountains jersey. There's Leanne Lippert in green. Alongside her is Corin Rivera, still leading in that Iceberg Sprints classification. And if you're watching out for Lizzie Deignan today, she is in that HSBC British Cycling Best British Riders jersey. And she leads that from Lizzie Banks. We're rolling out towards kilometre 0. And once the flag drops, we will be off and racing.
Be interesting to see what the teams decide to do today, because it is so hard with such big climbs. Does anyone want to go on an early breakaway, or are we going to wait to see the action on the climbs?
So we go through kilometre 0. The tactics, as Joe said, of the time. Do you think we might see some teams trying to send riders up the road so that if it does split later on in the day that they've got some riders up there to help their leaders?
Yeah, exactly. So it's a good tactic if you can get in an early breakaway to sort of have that launch pad for a rider to come across to you. And here, as I say, that a big attack there from FDJ.
So the attack's coming thick and fast. It's going to be a big day in the saddle. First sprint coming in Beguiled. Stage 5 of the OVO Energy Women's Tour, the Queen Stage, the toughest day of the race, but the sun is shining for the riders. We've had the usual flurry of attacks at the beginning of the stage, and nothing managing to stick so far, heading towards the iceberg sprint of the day in Beguiled. That's just after 43 kilometres. Corin Rivera's Sunweb team on the front here, Joe, looking to try and lead out.
Yeah, a really strong team from Sunweb, one of the few teams still in the race with a full complement of riders, because there has been a few crashes like we've seen, but all on the front currently, ready to lead out Corin Rivera, who is in this jersey, but also the overall race leader, Leanne Lippert, in the green jersey.
There's Leanne Lippert just moving up there. Lizzie Dignan's right behind her. Here come Team WNT. Catherine Hammers now bringing Lisa Brennauer up towards the front. Brennauer losing that green jersey yesterday, dropping to 4th at 7 seconds. These intermediate sprints are going to become really important over the closing couple of days. Floortia Mackay here from Sunweb, though, leading out. Look at the effort on the face, though. The sheep don't look too impressed, though, at the side as they head in towards this sprint. There's Leanne Lippert, so level on time. The sprint starts. Amy Peters in the orange there for Bull Dolmans, and Team Sunweb trying to lead out for Leanne Lippert. Dignan's trying to come, but here comes Amy Peters now moving up towards the front. Peters leading out the sprint, and it looks like the Bull Dolmans rider takes it, and Lisa Brennauer, little throw of the bike to the line there, and she takes second.
Yeah, so nice full maximum points and seconds there for Amy Peters. Lisa Brennauer in second and Lisa Klein in third. So Lisa Klein, a teammate of Cassia Nieuwedome for Canyon SRAM. So for her, probably just trying to soak up those extra bonus seconds so that no one else can take them.
Now the attack comes. Aude Bionique from Movistar, the French national champion, makes a move off the front. Again, after that sprint, good time to move. And we're in some of the narrow lanes here, and you can see some reaction coming behind as they try and come across. That looks like Erica Malnaldi, the WNT rider, just getting up there. And I'm seeing that Danish national champions jersey there of Amelie Deirdrickson.
Yes, that's a good time to attack if you can, because the big teams have all done a full gas lead out for that sprint. And if you've still got the legs, you can attack there and force a little breakaway. We've also got slightly narrow roads here as well, so a better chance to get out of sight.
So Lauren Kitchen, Aisha Paladin in this breakaway with Aude Bionique, Amelie Deirdrickson and Erica Magnaldi. We're on to the Category 1 climb here, and it's the Gorthua Bank. It's 1.2 kilometres. The average gradient, though, of 7%, but average gradient as we start the climb, it's always quite deceptive, especially in Wales, because they do just kick up at random.
Yeah, definitely. So you've got the categorised climbs in the race, but of course there's many more climbs throughout the route, so it's dangerous to think that that's the only thing you've got to focus on as a rider. You have to be vigilant the whole race, make sure you're not dropping too far back in the bunch, because it's going to be hard all day today. So
they've got a gap of about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Erica Magnaldi here, great climber for Team WNT. Took a great stage victory last year in the Tour of the Ardèche. Magnaldi's one of those riders, though, isn't she? As a top pro woman, you don't get an awful lot of opportunity to ride in the high mountains, which is where riders like Erica Magnaldi really excel. You have to be a real all-rounder, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. Currently in women's cycling, with the exception of the Giro, we don't have the same sort of grand tours that the men have, so you don't really have the pure climber types really having many chances to really excel. So a lot of the top female pros will be really strong all-rounders, like people like Lizzie Dignan that can climb and sprint. So they're the names that we often see. So there will be a lot of riders really relishing the chance to race on such tough climbs in Wales today like this.
So Lauren Kitchen on the back here, the blue and white of FDJ Nouvelle Aquitaine Futuroscope. She's in there just making up that breakaway group. Park Hotel, Valkenburg on the left. Demi Vollering, great rider. Aisha Paladin, she's got her black rain jacket on for Valkar. And then you've got two national champions in here. Amelie Deirdrickson just out the saddle in the red and white of the Danish national champion. And a phenomenal rider, Amelie Deirdrickson. Again, we know her as a sprinter, don't we? But you can't, again, pigeonhole riders. She's been world junior champion twice on the road, elite champion as well. She's been a world champion on the track. And as a rider, she's someone you probably competed against quite a lot.
Yeah, definitely. So, very versatile rider, still very young. Won the World Championships as a 20-year-old, which is obviously incredible, except for Marianne Vos. You know, that's almost unheard of to be winning the Senior World Championships at that sort of age. So, someone that's still developing and still sort of excelling in so many areas. She's got so many opportunities and she is very versatile. So, today, obviously doing a job for her team by her being in the breakaway, takes the pressure off Bowles Dolmans and the bunch to need to do any chasing.
So, Lauren Kitchen just dropping off the back of the group here. So the pressure, the pace on the front, the FDJ rider now dropping off. You can see the beautiful Welsh countryside here, and it's Magnaldi on the front, just out of the saddle. This group, Deirdrickson just having a little look back just to see if Lauren Kitchen is still with them. 10 points is the maximum on offer at the top of this climb going into the stage. Majerus, who's wearing that black Skoda Queen of the Mountains jersey, had a 1-point advantage over Kasia Niewiadoma, and Afflicta third with 13 points. So it may now come down to a battle between those two riders. Those red, blue and white jerseys of WNT very much to the front. The orange jerseys here, though, of Canyon Schramm there are the teammates of Kasia Niewiadoma. And they did a phenomenal ride yesterday coming into that climb. It was just a 1.2k climb. It wasn't hugely long yesterday, but Kasia Niewiadoma, she put, she gave great kudos to her teammates for a phenomenal lead out.
Yeah, absolutely. So it really was a full gaff leader into that climb. We saw Hannah Barnes on the front, we saw Tiffany Cromwell, and Kasia Niewiadoma obviously finished it off brilliantly, but it was really strong teamwork by the Canyon Schramm girls.
Now we see the summit. Will they ride across here, or will they battle it out for those all-important Queen of the Mountains points? It looks like Erica Magnaldi that's going to ride through here and take the points. They're not interrupting the fluidity of the breakaway. So Erica Magnaldi takes maximum points over the top of Gorthua Bank. You can see the wind just buffeting the riders as they go over the summit. We're going to look back now to see those riders. Just little horse having a bit of a refreshment at the side there, getting a little bit startled by our riders. Lauren Kitchen going over the top of that climb. That's the result so far. So Magnaldi takes 10, Kitchen takes 6. So remember, we've got 5 more places for points to be scored in the bunch behind. As we look down here, so Park Hotel Valkenburg, Demi Vollering there. Looking for that black jersey, though, of Christine Majerus. She's just on the far side of your picture there. And for Majerus, she will want to try and get through this stage. She didn't score a huge amount of points yesterday.
Yeah, she scored really well very early in the race on day one, so we can just see her moving up on the outside now of this bunch. She'll be wanting to try and score the best she can, so there is still 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1 points for the next 5 over the climb. So I think we're going to see the usual suspects up the front of the bunch just because they are the strongest climbers, but definitely I'm thinking Majerus will try and get us some more points now.
Great to see so many Welsh flags out, as you would expect. The Welsh Dragon, the flag voted the coolest flag in the world apparently recently, the Welsh flag. Majerus just coming up here, a little bit more help here for Team WNT. Ellen Van Dijk in the blue and white there of Trek Segafredo. Elisa Longa Borghini moving up on the outside as well. Kasia Niewiadoma in the century picture in the orange. Our breakaway group just taking this opportunity to just get some food and drink into the system. A little bit of a false flat here before we really start the descent proper. Majerus lines up for the sprint. The Queen of the Mountains jersey. There's Leanne Lippert just coming through in that green jersey. Majerus of Ball Dolmans crests the summit here. Takes some more points. Just has a little glance back over the shoulder just to see who's right behind her. And there you have it. So Majerus, Niewiadoma takes 4. So it looks like the Canyon Schramm rider is looking to try and challenge for this jersey. Bionic leads into the corner. Aisha Paladin, though, just starting to struggle here, slightly on the back. Next climb to come. Stage 5 of the OVO Energy Women's Tour. As the race approached the second sprint in St. Harman, our 4 leaders have been reduced to 3, Aisha Paladin having been dropped. McNally, Bionic and Deirdrickson rode through the sprint, taking the bonus seconds and the points as the race moved on to the second categorised climb of the day at Eppend. Erica Magnaldi, Emily Deirdrickson and Ode Bionic. Now, Joe, as we start the big one, 3.5 kilometres this climb and an average gradient of 9%.
This is going to be really tough at this point in a stage race as well. 4 days of racing in their legs and mostly long, hard days as well with some really bad weather. So there's going to be a lot of tired legs out there today. But those girls that are still feeling good are going to be really relishing this opportunity today.
So the blackboard's just gone past. It showed them 45 seconds. They had a maximum lead of about 4 minutes and 30. The Victoria neutral service car has also been pulled out. McNally ups the pace and Ode Bionic just starting the slide off the back as Amelie Deirdrickson just locks onto the wheels. The French national champion just getting distance now. Potentially a tactic if she knows that the peloton is coming, and there they are, they're in sight. Just try and recover slightly to try and have enough left to get in the bunch when they go past.
Yeah, so at this point she can either try and back off a little bit to try and get in the bunch as they go past, like you say, or there could be a job to do for a teammate. There could be just a little bit of trying to help someone as a last little bit of effort that you might have in the legs. If you can just do something for one of your teammates, then that's a good job done.
There's our talented heli camera there, so we'll be getting some helicopter shots on this climb. We've had some epic shots so far throughout this year's Women's Tour, and Amelie Deirdrickson again just takes another glance over her shoulder. So this general classification so tight. Would you say, Joe, that this climb in particular, it's a very tough final 25 kilometres of today's stage? This is where they're really going to have to try and put some time into each other.
Yeah, definitely. So we're tied at the top with Leanne Lippert and Cassie Nieuwedoma, but there's only 9 seconds separating the top 5. So really, really close to the top with 5 different teams with all to play for, really. So it will be interesting whether we see any attacks launched on this climb or whether there'll be more sort of action at the back of the bunch of people suffering. Like I said, we are 5 days into a stage race, so no one's going to have the real sort of zip in their legs that you might have early on. But I definitely think, you know, a real stage of attrition today.
You can see the Italian rider here for Team WNT Rota, and Magnaldi here clearly relishing these Welsh mountains today. There's the peloton though just coming up towards them. You can just see how Deirdrickson is just locked onto the wheel of the Italian. She is just setting the pace, and the stronger climber out of the two. When you're in a breakaway like this, you know, this is the best thing to do, isn't it? If your opponent is a better climber than you, just let them set the pace.
Yeah, so for Amelie Deirdrickson, she is riding really, really well here. So we don't normally think of her as a climber, but, you know, like you say, locking onto that wheel, not focused on anything else. You know, you spend a lot of time training looking at power meters and looking at heart rate data, all that sort of thing. But when it's actually a bike race, just trying to hang on to that wheel in front, and that racing instinct comes through, and she is hanging on really, really well there.
Amelie Deirdrickson, winner of a stage of the OVO Energy Women's Tour last year into Worcester in a sprint stage, so it's not going to be long now before that bunch, or what's left of that bunch, starts to get up. You can see already that riders just starting to get distance as well as this climb really starts to bite.
Yeah, we've got quite a small peloton there. You can see they're not spread across the road at all. Everyone is sort of fighting for wheels, trying to just hang on to that bunch. There'll be lots of girls suffering, just trying to stay there. And like you can see, they're really, really small, select group we've got here at the moment.
And again, for those riders that have been maybe distanced earlier on in the stage, there's the time cut to make as well, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. So there is going to be a time cut on each stage of a stage race. So if you have been dropped early, you need to be working hard together. So people often say that it's a really hard ride when you're back in those further groups back, because you can't relax and just sort of roll in. You can't think about tactics. You really are just almost doing a sort of through and off all the way to the finish to try and get all of you there within the time limit, so you're ready to fight another day and work for your teammates.
The orange jersey there of Hannah Barnes. Again, she did an epic ride yesterday, coming in towards the climb to lead out for Kasia Niewiadoma, who went on to take the stage victory. And Ellen van Dijk there for Trek Segafredo. She's up towards the front. And, Elisa Longoborghini also there, but you can see Magnaudi here. And again, not giving up. You know, the bunch are almost with them, but the Italian just keeping the pressure on, keeping the climb, because again, anything can happen.
Yeah, well, she's forcing the other teams to chase her, so that means Lisa Brennau for WNT can sit back. But equally, she's happy at this pace on the climb, so, you know, why not ride at her own pace and keep going at the moment? Could potentially give a launch pad for Lisa Brennau, but also just make the other teams continue to work and continue to chase her.
And Dietrichson, that's it. The day is done there in the breakaway for her at the pace of Erika Magnaudi here. Just a little bit too hot for the Danish national champion. There's a beautiful shot now of the climb here. This is our categorised climb. As we said, it's been up and down all day. If we have a look around the front of that group, there's Longoborghini and Van Dijk. Lizzie Deignan, you're watching out for in that light blue jersey, is the best British rider. Leanne Lippert, our overall leader in the green jersey, she's still in this group. So for Team Sunweb, it really is advantage them. We'll see if they give the opportunity and really put everything behind Lippert on this climb.
This is such a select group of riders. When you've got the likes of Ellen van Dijk, Hannah Barnes, the ones doing the work for their teammates, it is really, you know, the who's who of professional women's races in this group. So still chasing this rider here, but I think we're going to see fireworks from this group as this climb continues.
So Magnaudi on the front, you can see a few of the teammates there just off Team WNT, just starting to get dropped off the back of the group. So the helicopter just zooms in. We'll see which ones of the WNT riders that have been dropped. Our green jersey, the young German national champion of Leanne Lippert, is sat right in the centre of that group. And for WNT, if they get on here, we'll see if Lisa Brennau is still in this group.
Leanne Lippert did a stunning ride yesterday. I think surprised a lot of people, and including herself as well, to take that OVO Energy green jersey in the overall lead. Of course, tied on time with Kasia Niewiadoma, so incredibly tight at the top. But she is one of the younger riders here. She's got a very strong team around her, but I think with this race being 6 stages long this year, and with the length of the stages, it might play more into the hands of the slightly older riders with slightly, you know, just more years of racing in their legs, because it is so much longer and harder this year.
So there's a good shot of the group there. Rachel Neelan on the dark blue and orange there for Team Virtu. She's in that group. We're seeing Leah Thomas on the left in the mint and black colours of Bigler. Looks like her teammate Lizzie Banks is right behind her. Great close-up there. Deignan moves through. There's Hannah Barnes right on the front. Niewiadoma. Majerus is still there as well. So going down that group, Vollering, Van Dijk. There's your leader in that green jersey. Jasinska is there, and Amelie Deirdrickson just on the back of that group, just trying to hang on.
Yes, all the favourites right up there. So Lizzie Deignan on the left of your shot, Alyssa Longoborghini on the right. I can see Leanne Lippert trying to move up. At the moment, no attacks. I think they're all just trying to hold the pace, and it's Hannah Barnes on the front here setting a really good pace, chasing down this rider.
So the other WNT rider is Anna Santesteban. She's in there. I think that's Lisa Brennau that we can just see at the being distanced off the back of the group. That's got a teammate with her. But for WNT Rota, again, doing the right thing. Just got to keep the pace in front of the German and just try and bring her over the top and try and get back into the group.
Yeah, exactly. So try and get back in if you can. We have got a lot more racing to go before we get to the finish. So if you are struggling on a climb like this, sometimes it can be in your best interest to just back off ever so slightly, not go over that threshold, and save yourself a little bit so you could put in a bit more effort into the descent.
So that group just coming together now. The catch is made. Erika Magnaudi. There's Elisa Longoborghini in that light blue, dark blue and white jersey. Right there, Leah Kirschman is still in there as well for Team Sunweb. So the Canadian rider is riding well here. Got some good representatives as well. Plenty of those orange jerseys there of Paul Dolmans.
It's great to see Lizzie Banks in here as well. So another British rider that's, like I said before, only her second year of racing as a pro, but really, really impressing me. So we've got Hannah Barnes, Lizzie Deignan and Lizzie Banks. So 3 really strong British girls in this group.
There's Alice Orzoufi, so we're wearing 111, a great cyclocross rider for Valcar. See the Italian well to the front here in that blue and pink jersey, so another cyclocross star. Scott's making a good name for herself on the road. She's got Marta Cavalli in there as well. That's the light blue jersey closer to the back of the group. Brodie Chapman just on the back in the yellow helmet for Team Tibco. And Leanne Lippert just coming up alongside her teammate here just to have a little bit of work. Now the attack goes. Dijkman is making a move in that light blue jersey. Kasia Niewiadoma is straight on her, as is her teammate Elisa Longo-Borghini. And Christine Majerus in that black Skoda Queen of the Mountains jersey. But reacts straight away. Niewiadoma now makes a move.
Kasia Niewiadoma was really quick to react there. She was looking so comfortable in that bunch, just sat on the wheel of her teammate Hannah Barnes, who was doing all the work. As soon as Lizzie Dijkman went, she was straight there, and now she's driving this break really hard.
So Dijkman really had to dig deep there, and it's always great to see the tactics of Niewiadoma. Waited for Dijkman to make a move. As soon as she caught her, she then counters straight over the top.
This is a really strong move now. We've obviously got two teammates from Trek Segafredo, Elisa Longo-Borghini and Lizzie Dijkman. Lizzie Dijkman working really hard at the back there, with Kasia Niewiadoma setting this blistering pace. She's climbing so well this tour.
So Niewiadoma level on time with Leanne Lippert. After yesterday's stage, it went to count back on previous stage placings. Now the Canyon SRAM rider on the front, trying to take this group clear. And in this select group, as they crest the summit, that's 10 more points towards the Skoda Queen of the Mountains jersey. As we said, she went into the stage with 1 point behind Christine Majerus. And there is the rider wearing that Queen of the Mountains jersey, Leah Thomas, just letting her come through to take as many points as she still can.
Yeah, Christine Majerus battling there for a few extra points there for the Queen of the Mountains jersey, but this group of three is looking really strong away now.
So over the top, 20 kilometres to go. We are now all downhill into the finish in Builth Wells. Inside the final 10 kilometres, stage 5 of the OVO Energy Women's Tour, Kasia Niewiadoma, Lizzie Dijkman and Elisa Longo-Borghini have gone clear over the top of the final Category 1 climb of the day, descending now in towards the finish in Builth Wells. This race has spread all over the countryside today. Here's your solo chaser, 28 seconds back to Leah Thomas of Team Bigler, and the peloton are not far behind. We have two former winners, Joe, in this leading group in both Niewiadoma and Dijkman.
We do. This is a really strong breakaway here, and obviously with two riders from Trek Segafredo, that means one of them could have the potential to sit on if they want to. They'll have a little conversation between themselves, thinking who's got the best legs. But at the moment, working really hard to stay away. We can see Leah Thomas there chasing for Team Bigler. Her and Lizzie Banks are both in that lead group going over that climb, so she's making a really big effort here to try and get across.
And now looking at this group, Elisa Longo-Borghini on the front. She's got its advantage, Trek Segafredo in that leading group. They've got two riders up there, so Kasia Niewiadoma's got some work to do to outwit that pair. Leah Thomas, you can see, just having a little glance back over her shoulder. Good move by the American. So there's the aerial shot. So there are your three leaders. So for Niewiadoma and up against the two Trek riders, it looks at the moment like Elisa Longo-Borghini is doing the lion's share of the work on the front.
Yeah, that's Lizzie Dijkman there just pulling off. So for Kasia Niewiadoma here, she's got her work cut out if she's going to try and beat these two. We know Lizzie Dijkman's very fast in the sprint. Elisa Longo-Borghini possibly looking slightly stronger on the climb than Lizzie, but it was Lizzie that initiated that attack, so obviously that's going to take a lot out of her. So could be a really interesting finish between those three.
And for Lizzie Dijkman, it's worth pointing out for viewers that are not aware, this is her first season back after giving birth to her daughter Orla last year.
It is, yeah. So she gave birth in September last year. So she missed the whole of the 2018 racing season. So her last race was at the end of 2017. So it was quite a long time out of the pro peloton, during which time the standard is always increasing, the professionalism of women's cycling is always getting better, the races are getting faster essentially. So she's come back in, and I think she said it's been a hard few races. We saw her at Tour de Yorkshire, we saw her in Flèche Wallonne, Amstel Gold, Liège, Bastogne Liège, but now back at the Women's Tour and in that Best British Riders jersey.
Inside 5 kilometres towards the finish now, in the front of that group behind They lean into a very tight corner there. Longo Borghini leading out. It's Bull Dolmans and Park Hotel Valkenburg at the moment that look like the teams that are chasing, because Bigler and Trek Segafredo and Canyon Shram with their leaders up the road will be able to contribute to the chase. Looks like Amy Peters and Caroline Canuel from the Bull Dolmans team that had made that group.
Yeah, and Team Sunweb as well, currently losing out. So they had the green jersey with Leanne Lippert, who had a brilliant ride yesterday, but we've not seen her in this group at the moment. So Team Sunweb potentially losing out a little bit today.
And so far, what do you make of this race? The peloton really has disintegrated. This is going into this. We call it the Queen stage because it's the toughest stage of the entire race, and it's delivered so far.
It has. It really is living up to expectations. So the organisers coming into this had said this is the toughest ever edition of the Women's Tour. People have said they want it harder, they want it hillier, and we have got these, epic climbs in places like Wales, and it's brilliant to see them being used in this race, and these girls are racing really hard over them.
Kasia Niewiadoma moves through towards the front. Rider, the 24-year-old from Poland, and Dijkman now looks like she's starting to sit on. Elisa Longo Borghini goes through to the front. There's almost a mind games now goes on in this point. The two Trek Segafredo riders, play games a little bit with Niewiadoma.
Yeah, definitely. So they've got the options. So for Kasia Niewiadoma, she really is up against it now. So Trek Segafredo have got the options. We know Lizzie Dijkman is a fast sprinter, but Elisa Longo Borghini could go on the attack as well.
That chasing group behind what is left of the peloton about to pick up Leah Thomas. They've got her in their sights, and you can see a couple of riders just off the back of that group. They're trying to get themselves back in there, but 3 kilometres to go now in towards the finish. Both Wales, we know it well in the men's Tour of Britain. Dylan Groenewegen was the stage winner the last time we visited here, but it's quite a technical run in towards the finish within that final kilometre.
Yes, we've got 5 corners within the last kilometre of racing today, and also we've not seen that at any point in this race. So yesterday we had laps of the finishing circuit, whereas this, none of the riders would have seen the finish at all unless they've gone and checked it out this morning. It will be the first time anyone's raced through into this finish.
So Thomas, current Pan Am time trial champion, Pan American Games, really good time trialist, riding well for Team Bigler, but it's Bull Dolmans in those orange jerseys that are on the front of this group. See WNT in those red and blue jerseys. They've got some representatives in here as well. Margozata Jasinska for Team Movistar, the Polish national road race champion. Dijkman in that blue British rider on the back. Longo Borghini now upping the pace. When I had a chat with her in Henley the other morning, she did say it was all about Lizzie Dijkman for the general classification, and she would be there to help her, and she's certainly doing that. 2 kilometres now in towards the finish, and we're still descending. Very fast running.
So it's becoming quite clear here that Elisa Longo Borghini is doing all the work. There's no need for Kasia Niewiadoma to really come through and do anything if Elisa Longo Borghini is willing to do these big turns and keep them away. It looks like we're going to have a 2-up sprint here, really, between Kasia Niewiadoma and Lizzie Dijkman.
Going into today's stage, so Leanne Lippert in that green jersey as leader. Niewiadoma level on time with her, 0 seconds. Lizzie Dijkman at 3, 10, 6 and 4 seconds, remember, on the line. But Elisa Longo Borghini really drilling it here on the front, trying to get the maximum amount of time gained for this trio. The last time, interestingly, looking at this group, the last time Lizzie Dijkman won a stage of the OVO Energy Women's Tour, they were on different teams, but Elisa Longo Borghini was 3rd.
Wow, that is an interesting stat. So of course this is a new team this year, Trek Segafredo, and it can be different working with girls that you've previously been your rivals. So it can take a little bit of time for a new team to gel, but they seem to be working really well together this week. We've seen a lot of Ellen van Dijk, we've seen Abby van Twist, we've seen Anna Plichter on the attack as well. So overall a really strong team this week.
Elisa Longo Borghini, she really is a great teammate for Lizzie Dijkman in this group. Phenomenal rider. Look at Amy Peters on the front here. Her teammate Christine Majerus is right with her. Leah Kirkman of Team Sunweb is right on the wheel. Little gaps now starting to open there. So Niewiadoma, what's going to be going through her head now to try and outwit these 2 Trek Segafredo riders?
She'll be thinking, what can I do? I think she'll know that she's perhaps not the strongest sprinter in this group, but she'll also be thinking about the overall race lead. She knows she'll be gaining over Leanne Lippert, who she was tying on time with coming into this, so it's in her best interest for them to keep going and have a good gap over that peloton. But Amy Peters for Bowles Diamonds driving ever so hard behind.
Into the finish. This is the finish here in Bilth, Wales. 500 metres to go. Longo Borghini leads out on the front, pushes it tight. So remember, as Joe said, lots of corners within this final 500 metres, but Longo Borghini pushing to try and gain maximum time. Nuvia Doma moves up. Lizzie Deignan now tries to squeeze her off the wheel of Elisa Longo Borghini. 300 metres to go. We've got a left turn now. It sweeps round. Nuvia Doma still on the inside. Lizzie Deignan on the outside. Elisa Longo Borghini down the centre, but Lizzie Deignan, she's a phenomenal sprinter, and now she lines up for the finish. Can Nuvia Doma come back? Is it going to be a dream return now for Lizzie Deignan? She sees the line ahead of her. It is indeed. Lizzie Deignan gives one more look back. A phenomenal stage victory for the British rider. Deignan takes it from Nuvia Doma, Longo Borghini, and here come the bunch behind, and it's a sprint here. Leah Kirkman is going to take fourth on the stage. A great chase. They have limited their losses. Christine Majerus crosses the line, and there behind her Amy Peters and Ellen Van Dijk.
Wow, that was some fantastic teamwork by Trek Segafredo there, and a stunning win there for Lizzie Deignan. She was the one that initiated that attack on that final climb. Cassie Nuadoma came with her, Alyssa Longo Borghini. It was such a strong breakaway, but there, brilliant teamwork, and her coming away with the victory. Very emotional scenes there for Lizzie Deignan. I think she's over the moon, slightly overwhelmed, but absolutely spectacular to see her racing again and winning at this level. Brilliant win today.
Lizzie Deignan outsprinted Kasia Nuadoma to win the stage. Elisa Longo Borghini was third, then came Leah Kirschman and Christine Majerus at 17 seconds. Leanne Lippert in the green jersey finished over 2 minutes down alongside Lisa Brennauer. Lizzie Deignan takes her third stage victory in the Women's Tour, the last one coming back in 2016. Kasia Nuadoma has overhauled Christine Majerus in the Skoda Queen of the Mountains competition. She now has a 1-point lead. Corin Rivera holds on to the Iceberg Sprints jersey. Stage winner Lizzie Deignan is in the pink as leader of the Breast Cancer Care Points competition. And to cap a fantastic day, she's also in the green jersey as overall leader of the OVO Energy Women's Tour. The bonus seconds for winning stage 5 mean Lizzie Deignan has a 1-second lead over Kasia Nuadoma. Amy Peters is third at 32 seconds, followed by Demi Vollering and Christine Majerus at 50, and Lizzie Banks is in 6th place, 57 seconds off the lead.
Just 1 second adrift in the GC. How important is tomorrow?
It's going to be definitely a big battle. I mean, Trek has very strong teams, so I do believe that they're going to control every single action or situation. Lizzie is strong, Lizzie is fast, so it's going to be extremely hard to beat her. Although I still believe that there are some chances. We just need to sit down with my team and discuss what can we do. Yeah, it's so close, and now I feel like I regret certain situations, how I lost previously a few seconds, so now I just need to focus on tomorrow and then see what we can do.
And our new race leader, Lizzie Deignan, joins me now. Firstly, talk me through the emotion when you crossed that line. That victory salute looked like it meant a lot.
It did, yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of times in the last few months where I've doubted whether I was making the right decision coming back to cycling, and it was just a massive validation for me. All the work I've put in, all the work that my husband has supported me, and obviously my daughter, you know, it was very emotional for me.
Yeah, you're making me quite emotional now. I mean, you're going home tonight with 4 leader classification jerseys, the overall lead, and the team prize as well. I mean, that's special.
It is super special, yeah. I mean, we didn't envisage being in this position. Tomorrow's going to be a tough day. We lost Trixie Warwick, who was our road captain, to that crash earlier in the week, and we'll really miss her tomorrow. And I think we all had her in the back of our minds. You know, she's a fighter and told us to keep fighting, so we will until the end tomorrow.
We can't wait to watch you in action tomorrow. Congratulations today, and make sure you join us at the same time tomorrow for all the action from the final day here at the OVO Energy Women's Tour 2019, where everything will be decided. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.